Hey ladies and gents, it's Zem back again, and we are doing the continued invasion of Poland in Blitzkrieg. Um, this is not an actually very easy mission, even though this is relatively early in the campaign. You have to cross a bridge, and the enemy is of course fortified, and you only get roughly 4 armored units and some troops, and the really big one here is, of course, uh, you do get some snipers, and those are so important in a lot of these games. Um, you can't really move around this map very well if you can't see what you're doing. Um, the plane that dropped my air support or dropped my sniper spotted some enemy troops over here to the side, so I'm going to use my armored car here and go over here and see if I can kill them. This does is lets me find out if there's actually any enemy artillery, and you're going to see me move this armored car around quite a bit. I don't ever sit really still because of the sheer amount of artillery that an enemy can have, and when they start concentrating on you, they will counter battery and try to kill your armored units pretty quickly. So you see me here just moving, just letting the guns do their work, trying to knock out this little squad of soldiers sitting here. So I'm moving. So far I haven't seen anything. There hasn't been any artillery drops yet. So yeah, I'm just checking it out till I killed the whole squad of them. Oh, and that's about the time artillery shows up here. So we got at least 4 artillery pieces on the map. This is going to be difficult. I still have to force this river crossing, so this is never going to be easy. So I pull on down here, pull my stuff out, and as long as you don't get spotted by the enemy, you're fine. That's when you do finally get spotted, is when the artillery starts raining in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my sniper to move into position here and try to find out what is going on here at this river crossing. And see what I'm going to have to do to get across it. With this much artillery, and I have no artillery in return, there's not a whole lot I can do. I could charge across the bridge and try to take it, but that's not going to work very well, because with that much artillery, as soon as I start crossing the bridge, I'll get spotted, and they will cluster fire me, and I won't be able to do... I will die. I will lose all my armored units, and most likely most of my troops. And that's kind of the whole problem. I mean, in World War II, artillery was king of the battlefield for a reason. With indirect fire and whatnot, it's very easy to destroy large groups of concentrated armor. So, knocked out the sentry with the at the river crossing here, and I'm going to find out what's here. You can see there's some trenches, a supply depot here, and I'm not terribly sure here. So use the binocs to find out what's there, and I locate a trench full of enemies, as well as a 25-pounder artillery piece right here at the bridge crossing. So I'm going to start using my sniper to clean out this slit trench, as well as knock out the bridge guard that you see down here right by the bridge. There was a group of, there they are right there, the group of soldiers. So I'm just going to roll on down here and see what I find. Push down here. Now I got my second sniper up. The airdrops will drop snipers. Later on in the game, of course, they'll drop more than just snipers. You can have bombers, you'll have the infantry. You'll actually get squads of infantry that'll drop reinforcements for you. You can get fighters, all that kind of stuff. But in this scenario, in this part of the campaign, I get to use snipers. And that's why I'm going to be using these guys to clean trenches and try to get my armored units across the bridge, which makes it kind of a slow going process. and that's what I mean. It's very slow here. Just simply charging across with this much artillery in play is suicide. You'll lose most of your troops, so you have to try to keep as many eyes on the battlefield as you can. Otherwise you will, like I said, literally lose everything you got. I mean, I got 2 engineering vehicles. I did get an R75 BMW motorcycle machine gun mounted, which doesn't do absolute dick all. Go figure. So I'm going to pull my troops back away from those guys that are sitting on the bridge and try to get them out of view range, just in case they do happen to spot me. And I'm going to help my snipers out a little bit here. I'm going to start running some of my armored units along the river here. And this is where where the scout car comes in pretty nice. It's way quicker, and it has of course that turret that's got the 20mm and a machine gun in it. So it does a pretty nice job of finishing off soldiers. So I'm just going to roll through here quick, let him shoot some of those guys quick, and then get out of the way before I have to start dealing with artillery, which is right on me as soon as I get spotted. So I'm going to pull him out of the way, get him out of view, and I have the Polish soldiers coming across the bridge into my armored units here, where I'm just going to roll over here and take them out quick before they can get back across the bridge. Start finishing them off. Pull my armored car back. Yeah, let's get you boys knocked out. Finish off the few that are sitting here, and I'm always on the move. You have to be. If you sit any of your units relatively, you stop moving for just a short amount of time, all that enemy artillery will focus fire you, and you will lose your... I mean, right there, that one just about hit my scout car. He only stopped for a few seconds. So now I'm going to move him back out of range and let my snipers continue to work here. Trying to clear out this bridge crossing, like I said, once again, so I can get my troops across. So I picked up the last of the bridge guard. I'm going to move these guys a little bit further. The artillery has a tendency to track you. If they see you moving off in a distance, they'll change targeting areas, and it just continue to drop shells on it. Right now, you can see the one. They're just pummeling the area where I wasn't no longer sitting there, but they'll continue to shoot that spot for a while. So what I'm going to do is clean out the rest of these river guards here. Use the most effective units I have, which right now are the 2 snipers, and start cleaning out as much as I can. It would be, like I said, really be nice if I could finish off this group of this trench full of enemy soldiers, as well as the 25-pounder that's sitting there shooting. With using the snipers, I'm able to kill all of the soldiers with the 25-pounder, which will allow me to capture it and use it against some more of the units here. So I destroyed all the bridge guard, and now I have only really 1 pink arrow left, which is I have to take the northern settlement. But I still have to get my troops and my armor across the bridge before I can start doing anything. So I'm looking here. Almost got the trench cleared. And snipers are, in fact, a unique unit in themselves, because not only do they have the ability to sneak around extended view range, but they're also, just like everything else, you have to keep them supplied. So like any armored vehicle, they carry about 128 rounds, I believe, of ammunition, so you can go through the ammunition pretty quick, and you'll see a little later here what I'm talking about. So I got one more sniper available. I'm going to bring my transport in. I'm going to drop him next here. 3 snipers are going to work through this target pretty quickly here. So I've killed a good chunk of the enemy soldiers in the trench, and they're still working on them slowly but surely. You can't fire for too long. It seems like if you fire for too long, the enemy kind of gets smart, and they start looking for your snipers. So now I have 3. I'm going to move them all down in here, and I'm just going to try to start finishing off this little group here, so I can at least get back across the bridge and hopefully start at least with my armored units would help a lot. I don't know what the enemy has. I'm not sure if they have armored units. I know they have artillery. Usually if they have artillery, then I'm assuming that they probably have armored units, which could be interesting, because in these early parts of the campaign, you are usually outnumbered, and they usually have better tanks. Yeah, it's just that's just the way it is. And you have to have, like I said, a lot of times you have to work against that for a number of the campaigns before your tanks become as good as theirs, or if you actually get a number more, you actually get more tanks than they do. The German one's kind of interesting. Of course, superiority-wise, you'll get better tanks, but you won't get near as much. In the early part of the campaigns, your tanks are still don't get very much, and you still don't get a superior tank. You're usually behind the 8-ball when it comes to armored units. So I've cleared the bridge crossing. Now I'm going to start moving my units up here, my armored units and my soldiers. The 25-pounder is been decrewed, so this allows me to start is going to allow me to capture it and start using against me. So start using my snipers view range to find out what I got ahead of me. I got another set of trenches here with troops in them, and like I said, just gonna check it out here and see what I got. So I'm looking, like I said, I got 3 of them, which makes it nice to be able to move around here and spot a lot of this stuff here. Now I've knocked out 1 artillery piece. I have 3 more to worry about. 2 of them are up here in this corner here where I'm sending my my snipers, and I'm kind of going to start looking for them. It's going to be hard to move around the map with those guys in place. So find another set of trenches. Yeah, and we're going to move in here. We're going to try to drop them into the trenches. I got my warehouse full of infantry. I'll move them up as well, and I'm going to use some of them to take over that artillery piece. Move my engineering vehicle across, set up some more trenches to fill up with troops. Give me kind of somewhat of a little bit of a defense here. At least try to protect my my engineering vehicles and my supply trucks, because if I do lose those, it's going to even make it more difficult. So now I'm going to start moving around here. I gotta get this moving. I gotta find out where I find a set of troops off here to the other side. So I'm going to use a couple armored vehicles here to knock them out. Once again, just using my armored car. It does a nice job of taking out large groups of infantry. It has the speed, and it also has the firepower to do it. Of course, that alerts the artillery, and they're back on me. So pull him back. Got my trench built with my engineering vehicle. Just gonna drop my troops in there, and it gives, well, you know, it gives you a little bit of a chance here that you don't have to worry about if you're gonna get pushed, if infantry is gonna attack, because you never know with this game exactly what's gonna happen. So like I said, I'm not sure if they have any armored units, so I have to be careful. And we're just going to keep working it here. They're still bombarding the one area up there, so I'm waiting for they're done before I start moving my troops up there. Continue to use my my snipers to knock out their infantry that's already in the trenches. I have a pretty good idea of kind of where everything's at right now. For the most part, they're still bombarding this area over here. Looks like they've kind of stopped, so it's time to move up and finish off the last little bit of troops sitting in this corner, and hopefully this will work out for us. And like I said, now it's a little bit more of a waiting game. I'm just going to let the snipers do their work here, and there they are. Now that I have a pretty good idea where they're at, I'm going to try to work on taking them out. Moving up here, little by little. And you know, and that's the game. This game could be very slow if you want to be able to do it without losing a massive amount of troops or any of your core units. You have to take your time and slowly work your way through there. I mean, of course, I can drop. I can just simply charge in, try to destroy everything. Hopefully, not get hit by artillery or any of that kind of crap. My armored car finally picks up the last of that infantry group, so that allows me here for my sniper to start moving around to the backside. I'm going to run him up through here in the trees. And, you know, and that's the problem with this. I shouldn't say problem. It makes the game a little more interesting. Is that you have to be careful that you without the vision, because any hill or any tree in the game uh, doesn't allow the vision to happen. So even using the longer range of the snipers, there's a lot of stuff you miss stuff. So you really got to move it around and just keep looking in a lot of different spots here. So I got the sniper heading up that way, and you can see him crawling up here to the far left-hand corner. I'm going to try to get him around behind the enemy lines here so I can move in and start sniping out the artillery. So I've already got knocked out one. I know there's 3 more. I have a general idea where the third one is at. He seems to be over here. So I'm going to send out my motorcycle here, scout car, I guess, whatever you want to call it, and see what I can find. So move some troops down here. I'd like to maybe pick up this little village down here, at least for the defense part of it, and see what happens. So move these guys down here. I'm going to see if I can bunker up in one of these houses. Kind of gives me a little bit of security on the flank wise. With having an officer in the infantry group lets me have binocs, which of course gives me a little bit longer view range. I'm just going to keep these snipers working here until I dissipate enough of them, or at least until I get this artillery knocked out to start moving around with my armored units. So I'm looking, like I said, with the fog of war, it's not easy to just run into there. It doesn't take long, especially with still 3 artillery pieces for the enemy to decimate all my infantry and all my tanks. So you see me play very cautious here until I know what is in here. So find me a house, and I'm going to load it up with troops, kind of bunker them up a little bit here. So far I haven't seen anything, and we're like I said, we're still going to keep working on here. I'm going to move some more troops down this way, just to kind of secure my flanks a little bit better. And now I have my my sniper into position. We're going to see what we can do about those. Yeah, there we go. There they are. That we're using multiple snipers like this. I can have one that can view and one that can shoot, because you obviously lose your view range. That means you have to get closer. But one with running binocs lets me be able to see and shoot at the same time. So moving a couple more infantry in here to this position, moving up into the next house. But once again, just like, I mean, this thing plays out so much like you would probably in an actual battle, you know, securing flanks. And, of course, my luck, I run into a house full of enemy soldiers. So I'm going to try to get them out of there. I don't want to lose all of them. Make them run, get them away. And I think at this point, like I said, I'm going to bring down some armored units to clean that house out so I can continue to move here. Now, of course, we've knocked out one gun crew. I have another gun crew to knock out before I can deal with the rest of those soldiers in that trench. So I'm going to pull these guys back. I'm going to bring my armored units over here to clear the house. That way I don't have to worry about losing my entire infantry squad. So I'm going to pull these guys down. I'm going to leave one armored car here just in case there is little issues later on. So now I've knocked out both gun crews. So now I have one artillery piece left. Enemy controlled. I occupy one and have captured 2. So pull my armored units down here, clean this house out. So of course, like I said before, I like to be able to keep my flanks secure as much as possible. At least maybe a tripwire to keep eyes on a certain area in case they decide to push. And you know, and you're going to watch this right here. This is one of the reasons why it's so difficult, because look at the amount of hedges and trees that are right around here. So unless the actual object has a view on the onto the enemy target, they can't attack. So I got my PZ2F working on that. I'm trying to get these other 2 involved here. But they're going to have to move up a little bit too close, in my opinion. You get too close to them, the infantry will, of course, start throwing grenades and anti-tank charges, which will knock off tracks and eventually destroy you. So you always kind of want to engage infantry as much as you can from a distance. So move up. We're gonna get this guy. We're gonna get it one way or another. That guy gets just a little too far in front, too far for me, so I pull him back out again. Yeah, like I said, you have to be careful that you don't get stuck in a place where the infantry can get you. I mean, that's one of the things you run into some of the later campaigns when you run into massive numbers of Russian tanks. Your only real option is charge them with infantry and start knocking off tracks and putting anti-tank charges on them if you have a chance to finish them off. So I'll move my armored units up in here. They're starting to work over the house. I'm feeling somewhat secure because, like I said, there's only one infantry. Of course, the very first shot out of the enemy artillery knocks out my tank. Yeah, that's the kind of luck you get with the RNG on this game. the AI just doesn't miss. So he knocks out one armored unit. I'm not going to dick around there. I'm going to pull out of the way. So I'm going to keep my infantry working. We're going to keep working on this trench because I really want to get it knocked out slowly but surely. And I know somewhere inside this village is my other enemy artillery piece. So I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to free up, try to capture those last two artillery pieces that I've knocked out, so I can so I can capture them, and then I'll have a 3 versus 1, and I'm able to probably easily counter him. And once I knock him out, it's going to make the game a little bit easier. So I pull my tanks down behind the lines. I'm going to start to resupply their ammunition and see how this goes. Yeah, and if you're going to play this game, you know, this is kind of the reason I do it. This is the the classic games, and each individual one of these missions is going to take you a fair amount of time. If you're not a patient person, or a person likes a little more action, these games are not for you, because they could be excuse me, these games can get very long, and then to a certain degree with the sheer amount of micromanaging you have to do. Unit here, unit there, move this unit here, move that unit here, wait, and then eventually maybe then you get a big climactic push at the end to win the game. Yeah, these games are not for everybody. This is kind of I shouldn't say a niche game. I mean, these games were very popular in the late 90s, early 2000s, these RTS kind of games. But yeah, it's not for everybody. So continue to use my snipers to clean these trenches. It takes a long time. Obviously they're only getting headshots, so they're not really getting a chance to work over the targets real well. So even just using 3 of them is going to take me a certain amount of time. So I just keep shooting at the baddies when they pop up, and they'll eventually kill them, slowly but surely. I'm going to keep moving my troops, or my armored units, around until I find a point where I can possibly do a little push here and start cleaning stuff out. Like I said, I really want to free up them 2 artillery pieces up here to the north here that are have been cleared from crew, and that's going to allow me to use that artillery against the enemy soldiers. One more guy left in that trench, and once I have him finished off, it's going to be a little bit easier, like I said, to get up into that last artillery position. So clean that trench out, and now we're going to move off to the north here. I'm going to pull my sniper down in here. I got to find out where that other artillery piece is at. I'm guessing he's over here just to the right, at the crossroads possibly. That's kind of where the circle was showing me he was firing from. Look down the alleyway, and I don't see anything. I'll move around the corner a little bit further, try it again. So I'm kind of guessing, like right where I pinged at right there is probably where he's at. He's probably behind that bush, those bushes in that little clearing. I don't see him, obviously, because of the bush and the trees. So like I said, I'm guessing that he's right there. So we're just gonna keep shooting at our cleaning out trenches, and it's time to start moving some troops up here. I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna try to move in here to capture the 2 artillery pieces. Move my armored units up just in case I do run into uh, the enemy decides to attack me with armored units, at least I have some ability to do it. And these PZ2s are just totally worthless against any sort of armored unit with a 20mm cannon. You know, and almost no armor. In fact, I think the armor card has as much armor as they do. So we're just gonna wait a little bit here until my troops get up there before I put my plan into action here. Once I get those control of those 2 artillery pieces, it's gonna let me be able to do a little bit more here. So I'm sneaking my sniper around here in town. I'm trying to look for a spot where I can look down these roads. You know, without a clear line of sight, it's hard to tell what's there. So continued with the sniping of the trench, slowly but surely. Alright, so I've made the corner here on my sniper, and now I'm looking. Still haven't spotted anything. I'm still kind of in those bushes right there. So I do find a enemy tank. The Polish apparently had some badass tanks the first part of World War II. yeah, they did. So find me the enemy tank. I'm gonna keep working on these infantry with my snipers. I'm waiting to figure out exactly what I'm going to do here. And like I said, I had a general idea what I'm going to do. There's a T7P light tank, which is better armored and has better guns than my PZ2s. So a direct confrontational fight with them is not going to work. So, move them around. I finally got my troops up here to the corner. I'm going to move them up into the top and start to pick up the 2 artillery pieces, which is going to go a long ways to help me winning this here. So I've cleaned out the top part of the trench. I just have the bottom part. I still have my scout looking at the enemy tank here to keep eyes on him. And now I have a target to shoot at. I'm just going to, you know, I use snipers whenever I do get them a lot. You know, not just with the ability to see far distances. They do a great job of knocking out these fortified positions, and I don't have to put a lot of my units in danger. So, picked up my first artillery piece. Trying to get my other one over there, and of course, now that I have it, I'm going to start using my battery to shoot at the light tank. It's got one or two things. I'm going to hopefully get lucky and knock him out, and the other one is to draw out the fire of the last artillery piece. I don't know where he's at. So, keep with my snipers, and there he is. So, now I have my infantry. Looking down there. I have my sniper looking down there. So there's like only one place he can be. He's right in there. The lucky little bastard knocks out my other artillery piece, you know, because that's how good enemy artillery is. I did finally get a shell in there. I'm just going to keep dropping shells in there until I stop seeing any return fire, which is right about now. Yeah, so I think I either killed the crew or destroyed the gun. I'm not sure. I'm going to drop a shell in here and see if I can knock out that bush right there. Still another bush on the top. I didn't even realize later on that there was another bush up there, so I could see what was going on. So, he's dead, or like I said, the crew is dead, and now I have control of the map, and I have 2 artillery pieces. So, let's switch this up a little bit. You can see the little yellow icon above my sniper over there. He's almost out of ammunition. I'm going to have to run a truck up here to assist in that. So, find the tank. There we go. So hopefully the artillery is going to be paying attention, or the artillery is going to hit him, at least knock him out. I'm going to bring my resupply truck up here, resupply my snipers. He's almost out of ammunition. Game's almost over with. There's not a whole lot they can do. Like I said, it's unless I get a massive rush of armored units here toward the end, which is very possible. It happens just when you think the game is in the hand. All of a sudden, the enemy force gets reinforcements, and you face off against 20 tanks against your 4. Yeah, that does happen on occasion. They have there's some weird historical things that happen. That's like, okay, where did this come from? So it's always something to remember. I guess it's never technically over till it's over. Sometimes you get just a little too aggressive and you lose a lot of units. Even if you win the game, knocked out the TP7, much better. So we're going to look around here. We got just a few left here. And I'm going to start dropping battery fire onto that trench. It's not going to do a whole, I mean, it takes a little bit of, takes quite a few shells actually to kill one troop. But hey, it's going to work out here. So they're coming out here, resupplying my sniper. I'm going to move my sniper over here to the edge here, find out what's over here yet. Apparently I haven't finished it off yet, so there must be some more troops yet to kill before I can win the objective. Yeah, so it's all, like I said, almost done. I'll be bringing the next one up here probably next week again when I sit down and finish off the next objective. Like I said, these objectives can get to be very long. I mean, this was a half hour, just a little over 30, just under 35 minutes, just to do this relatively simple mission. And these campaigns get, in the campaign, the missions get exceedingly harder, more units, more objectives to beat, so it can be very, very long. Got one more troop left in the trench. I'm going to bring my supply truck down here. I'm going to pick up this, pick the last of this artillery piece here on the bottom, pick him up and move him up by my other one, so it's a little easier to resupply. Since I only have one supply truck, I can't keep running them back and forth. So I'm going to pick up this this artillery piece and move it up to the north next to my other one. There we go. Finally, we saw it. I didn't destroy it. I just simply knocked out the crew. So technically I could eventually end up capturing that, but we'll see here. So I'm going to move over here. Got one more trench full of baddies, and I'm going to start dropping suppressive fire back on that too. Almost got my. There we go. We're going to back around here. We're going to hook up to that artillery piece and move it up to a better position for me to keep it supplied and keep the guns constantly shooting. Now, like I said, I think a pretty good idea. This hopefully is the last set of trenches, but I'm going to move my. So I have a house down in the south here that still has some baddies, and this trench right here. Apparently, that's what I need to finish to kill them all eventually. I just keep using the snipers and the artillery to do it. We're going to pull our armored units down in here just in case, so some backup here. My truck has almost got the artillery piece hooked up, and I'm going to move him to the north here, which is kind of, like I said, it's kind of neat that you're able to capture enemy equipment and use it against them. It makes some of the games a little bit more interesting when that's actually something you need to do to survive. I need to move my scout over here a little bit here to see if I can find anything else. Unfortunately, there's a fence in the way, which makes it a little difficult to move. So I got my two scouts, snipers here, relatively close. For some reason, the one is crawling right across the road and headed for the enemy position. I'm not terribly sure what he's doing, but if he's this close, he hasn't been spotted. You know what? I'm just going to let him continue to shoot things. About that time, yep, here comes some more 7 TP light tanks. So I got my armored units here. I got the artillery focused on them. We're going to see if we can knock out these guys. They end up killing my sniper, which is unfortunate, but I still got 2 left. Not a big deal. I do get one of the snipers run away, and they're headed back off into the fog of war. So I have an idea of where they're at or what they're doing, so I'm going to move my sniper down into a position so I get a better view of them. I just have these few guys hanging out here in the trench, and if I mop these up, I should for the most part be done with it. Alright, so I keep, for some reason, keep poking on here, and I realize that I can't because there is a fence there, and for some reason soldiers can't climb over the, but I was able to pick that guy up, and now I have a target to shoot at with my artillery. We're going to start dropping some shells on him. So, hope you guys enjoy this. you know, and it's going to take a little while to get a couple more of these videos up. These are, besides the playing, the editing, and all that stuff, and then starting over and actually put the commentary to it. It takes a little while, and these games, like I said, are just going to get more. These missions and campaigns are just going to get more difficult. So bear with me. Like I said, I hope you guys are enjoying this new part of what I'm trying to do here, not just with the classic games, the World of Tanks, World of Warplanes, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Is trying to give it a little bit different. Little different flavor, maybe just a little bit something different watching it. So I pick up the last unit to be destroyed, finish the mission, and all that happy horse shit. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll have some up a little bit later.